Genesis chapter 13. Abram went up from Egypt to the Negev desert. He took his wife and everything he had. Lot went with him. Abram had become very rich. He had a lot of livestock and silver and gold. Abram left the Negev desert. He went from place to place until he came to Bethel. Then he came to the place between Bethel and Ai, where his tent had been earlier. Then he called on the name of the Lord at the altar he had built. Lot was moving around with Abram. Lot also had flocks and herds and tents, but the land didn't have enough food for both Abram and Lot. They had large herds and many servants, so they were not able to stay together. The people who took care of Abram's herds and those who took care of Lot's herds began to argue. The Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land at that time. So Abram said to Lot, "Let's not argue with each other. The people taking care of your herds and those taking care of mine shouldn't argue with one another either. After all, we are part of the same family. Isn't the whole land in front of you? Let's separate. If you go to the left, I will go to the right. If you go to the right, I will go to the left." Lot looked around. He saw that the whole Jordan River valley toward the town of Zoar had plenty of water. It was like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose the whole Jordan River valley for himself. Then he started out toward the east. The two men separated. Abram lived in the land of Canaan. Lot lived among the city of the Jordan River valley. He set up his tent near Sodom. The people of Sodom were evil. They were sinning greatly against the Lord. The Lord spoke to Abram after Lot had left him. He said, "Look around from where you are. Look north and south, east and west. I will give you all the land you see. I will give it forever to you and your family who comes after you. I will make them like the dust of the earth. Can dust be counted? If it can, then your family can be counted. Go, walk through the land. See how long and wide it is. I am giving it to you." And Abram went to live near the large trees of Mamre at Hebron. Then he pitched his tent and built an altar to honor the Lord. Genesis chapter 14. Anaphor was the king of Babylon. Ariel was the king of Elazar. Kedorlaomer was the king of Elam. The Tidal was the king of Goim. They went to war against 5 other kings. They were Bera, king of Sodom, Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, Shembar, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela. Bela was also called Zoar. These 5 kings all gathered their armies together in the valley of Shittim. It was also called the Valley of the Dead Sea. For 12 years, Kedorlaomer had ruled over them, but in the 13th year they opposed him. So in the 14th year, Kedorlaomer and the kings who helped him went to war. They won the battle against Rehoboth and Ashtaroth Karnaim. They also won the battle against the Zuzite in Ham and the Amites in Sheba Kirathaim. They did the same thing to the Horites in the hill country of the Shale. They marched all the way to El Paran near the desert. They turned back and went to En-Mishpat, and Mishpat was also called Kadesh. They took over the whole territory of the Amalekites. They also won the battle against the Amorites who were living in Hazar Tamar. And the king of Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim, and Bela marched out. Bela was also called Zoar. They lined up their armies for battle in the valley of Shittim. They got ready to fight against Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of Goim, Amnaphar, king of Babylonia, and Ariel, king of Elazar. There were 4 kings against 5. The valley of Shittim was full of tar pitch. The kings of Sodom and Gomorrah ran away from the battle. Some of their men fell into the pitch, but the rest escaped to the hills. The 4 kings took all the things that belonged to Sodom and Gomorrah. They also took all their food and then left. They carried away Abram's nephew Lot and the things he owned. Lot was living in Sodom at that time. a man escaped and came to report everything to Abram. Abram was a Hebrew. He was living near the large trees of Mamre the Amorite. Mamre was a brother of Eshcol and Aner. All of them helped Abram. Abram heard that the Lord had been captured, so he called out his 318 trained men. All of them were sons of his servants. Abram and his men chased their enemies as far as Dan. During the night, Abram separated his men into groups. They attacked their enemies and drove them away. They chased them north of Damascus as far as Hobah. Abram took back everything the kings had taken. He brought back his nephew Lot and the things Lot owned. He also brought back the woman and the other people. After Abram won the battle over Kedorlaomer and the kings who helped him, he returned home. The king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Sheva. It was also called the King's Valley. Melchizedek was the king of Jerusalem. He brought out bread and wine. He was the priest of the Most High God. He gave a blessing to Abram. He said, "May the Most High God bless Abram. May the Creator of heaven and earth bless him. Give praise to the Most High God. He gave your enemies into your hand." Then Abram gave Melchizedek a tenth of everything. The king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give me the people. Keep everything else for yourself." But Abram said to the king of Sodom, "I have raised my hand to make a promise to the Lord. He is the Most High God. He is the Creator of heaven and earth. I have said, I will not upset anything that belongs to you. I will not take even a thread or the strap of the sandal. You will never be able to say, I made Abram rich. I will accept only what my men have eaten and what belongs to Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. These 3 men went with me. Let them have their share."